Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening. How? I hope you're doing well. Bonsoir, bonjour. It depends where you are watching us from. I'm so excited tonight. Again, for those who don't know me, Coach Jeanine, and I'm so excited tonight to be here. I have a very, very special guest of mine, which I'm so excited to present to you guys. This woman, she's a powerhouse. We just had an amazing presentation of hers. Last weekend, we had a conference where she blessed people. She gave us a very good nugget. So I'm so excited tonight. Again, hello, hello, everybody. Please share this show so we can be able to have a lot of people so we can be able to talk about how we can support one another. This is today is an example of this connection who started like maybe couple years ago with Coach Nancy. I'm so excited to be here today. Welcome, Coach Nancy Lois. How are you tonight?
I'm fine, Coach Jeanine. How are you?
I'm doing good because I am with you tonight, so I'm very excited. Many of you, like you know, that I was definitely doing different things, but it's really a moment where I really looking forward to be able to engage with you guys today. So hello, hello, Coach Tanya. Good to see you here, Dr. Tanya. The reason why I really wanted to brought you here because I know the type of work that you're doing, and to me, it's very important for us to supporting one another. And I know that a couple years ago when we met, and that's what I really sensed when I started just to talking to you, and you always say, "What you need?" So what are we doing next? To me, it showed that how you definitely, it doesn't mean that you don't, you're not busy. You're a very busy person, but you definitely took time to get to know me, to grow this network. And today, on so many levels, when I do something, I always think about Coach Nancy. So to me, that's why I really wanted to celebrate you. I wanted really to support you, especially for this amazing event coming up for you. I would like to support you in any way I can. That's why I want us to talk about that. So, again, Coach Nancy, anything you wanted to tell our viewers just about the connection that you feel, how it's so important for us to supporting one another.
Well, we met, like I said, it's been a little, it's probably been about 2.5 years,
Yeah, close to three.
2.5 to 3 years, and you reached out to me and
Yes.
in a conference, and you said, I don't know how you found me, but you found me. God knew that you needed to find me, so He needed to connect.
Yes.
And so we connected, and because I've done some stuff internationally, but you have an international background, and it's always about building relationships and collaborating. And so I just felt there was a kindred spirit there when we met. And so I believe it's not just networking, but it's connecting with people because people network all day long. But if you don't really connect with someone, nothing happens beyond that meeting. And so we connected and we've stayed in contact since that point in conversations, in rooms like this, in Zooms meetings, and we've just kept the connection going. And I think that's the critical piece people have to remember. When you really want to connect with someone, it is nurturing, it's cultivating, it's developing, it's growing that relationship over time through different mediums in terms of phone conversations, emails, texts, different programs you're having that you can incorporate people in. But it's really learning how to support and connect with like-minded people. So at the end of the day, we all get to the winning circle.
Absolutely. We all get to the inning circle. And to me, last weekend, guys, I just want to give you a little preview about what happening. So I was supporting another friend of mine. She was having a conference. So she invited me and then said, Jeanine, feel free to invite others. Like many of you guys know, I'm like many people call me the queen of connectors. So I always make sure that I know who to call because, again, we're here to serve. At the end of the day, we're here to serve. It's not about the title. We're here to serve. So that always keep me humble and always make sure that I make sure people that I'm bringing in are really able to deliver and to be able to empower others. So last weekend, I was with Coach Nancy and many other four women. It was amazing. People really gave me very good feedback, and I said, "This is the type of work that really make me jump and really be happy." Because to me, it's very important that people who are bringing in are really giving also, and like they also things with substance, so it's not just about fluff or anything, because I'm now really about that business. I'm really about empowering people, impacting life, changing life. So that's why Coach Nancy really gave us some very good nuggets last weekend. And I think the people even requesting for Coach Nancy to come back. So I'm so excited about that. Now, we have a few words for you, like we always do as a tradition on this show. We have a few words that we like you to exactly to tell us what you think. So I'm also gonna just relay that to our French viewers so they can be able so to jump on and be able to engage with us. Merci beaucoup de se connecter encore ce soir. C'est coach Jeanine. Je suis avec coach Nancy Lewis. C'est une dame que j'admire beaucoup. Euh, on s'est rencontrés il y a à peu près 3 ans. Et même, j'étais en train de rencontrer cette histoire, comment est-ce que le week-end passé, j'étais dans une conférence là où elle était aussi parmi les panélistes. Elle nous a beaucoup bénis en tout cas. Donc, elle a partagé son parcours en tant que leader aussi. Elle nous a aussi donné beaucoup de conseils, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui, c'était dans le domaine de finance, c'était le domaine d'investissement. Alors, elle a aussi beaucoup de connexions. Donc, c'était vraiment formidable. Et j'étais en train de dire que moi, je suis toujours en train d'emmener des personnes qui vont donner quelque chose de substance. Parce que je ne suis pas là en train de plaire aux gens, mais je veux vraiment make sure que je suis en train de donner la vie, de transformer la vie. C'est ça mon rôle, c'est ça ma responsabilité. Donc, pour moi, quand j'emmène une personne dans une conférence ou bien euh, dans un événement, c'est très important. Et j'aimerais vraiment que toute personne qui est là puisse vraiment recevoir quelque chose de moi. Alors, j'ai reçu beaucoup, beaucoup de commentaires. Je suis vraiment bénie pour ça. Et il y a même des personnes qui demandent que Coach Nancy puisse revenir encore. Donc, pour moi, ça me donne vraiment la joie. Donc, ce soir, on va parler aussi de beaucoup des événements qu'elle est en train de faire. Et elle va nous parler de ça. Mais avant ça, nous avons 5 mots pour elle qu'elle va nous parler de ces 5 mots. So, okay, Coach Nancy, your first word is resilience.
Mm. So you want me to talk about resilience?
Yeah. What comes to mind when you hear the word resilience?
Well, resilience, when I hear the word resilience, I hear that means when life deals you lemons, you make lemonade, and that you don't quit, that you bounce back. Resilience is that when you get knocked down, you get back up again. As the Bible reminds us, a just man falls 7 times, but he gets back up again. That's resilience. You get back up. You don't quit. You continue to stay in the fight.
Absolutely. You don't, guys. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you definitely are here and sharing this podcast because we really want people also to hear this, even though you might listen on the replay. But we want you to really, take good notes so you can be able to use this on appropriate time, even in your own journey. So the second word for you, Coach Nancy, it's redefine.
Redefine is, I think, what people are having to do now in the aftermath of COVID. You're having to redefine your life, redefine maybe how you do things, redefine sometimes your goals, and basically just say, okay, this is what I started out doing, but now based on how we've had to learn how to navigate, and we've heard the word pivot. That pivot word has caused us to have to redefine sometimes our goals, our desires, and to do things in a different way. That doesn't mean that you abandon your goal. It's just sometimes you have to redefine the pathway what you want to do. Because I tell people, sometimes in the redefining it's because you've been rejected. But many times I tell people rejection is simply redirection and realignment and allowing you to redefine things because now this is how you're going to do it now based on what you've learned. You take the lesson, you leave the baggage. So redefining yourself allows you to say, okay, what did I learn last year? What did I learn last week? How do I apply that going forward as I redefine the life and the course that God has me on?
Wow. I really like what you said. You learn the lesson and you leave the baggage. We're gonna come back to that because that one is so deep. I like that one. Absolutely. Another word for you, Coach Nancy, it's refocus.
Oh, refocus. Refocus is that sometimes we get things out of focus. And one thing that we talk about in our church, our pastor says we have to have unbroken focus. And what happens is that when we have to refocus, it's usually because we've started looking sideways. We start looking at other people's lives, whether it's the imposter syndrome, whether it's looking at this person is doing this and I'm not doing that. But you have to realize your chapter 1 could be somebody else's chapter 12. And so refocus yourself as to what has God called you to? What is your mission? What is your niche? What are the gifts you have? How do you stay in your own lane? That's what refocus requires. I stay in my own lane. Run the race that's set before you, not somebody else's race. Quit looking sideways and work on what God has called you to do. That's really when you can be refocused and really get to where you want to get to. The problem is we're on social media, and it's nothing wrong because as business owners, we have to have some kind of presence on social media in some way. But the problem becomes when we begin to look sideways and begin to compare ourselves with other people, that imposter syndrome that gets us out of focus. And now we're trying to do what somebody else has done, but it's not what God has called us to, because sometimes you want somebody else's life, but you don't know what they've had to do to get there. And so it's important to refocus is to really redefine. It goes back to the resilience. It's basically redefining and now refocusing in terms of, let me get this really clear as to where I'm calling. What is my niche? What's my calling? What am I been called to do? Let me make sure that people that are in my circle, they are going to be a part of what I need to do. And they can help me go forward. They're my champions, but they're also sometimes my critics.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Amen to that. I think that's very similar to what you just mentioned it, but if you can explore more on that. So your next word is reposition.
Reposition. Well, when you reposition yourself, sometimes it's because you are out of alignment. It goes back to you're out of alignment. Because sometimes I just think back to when I was trying to sell real estate. Some of the things I've done in my life that were not what I needed to do. I had to reposition myself because people said, "Oh, you'd be good at this. You can do this." And so you try it, but it's like, this position doesn't feel good. It doesn't flow with me. This is work. And I think when you love what you do, it should not be work. It should not feel like work. So I had to reposition myself and say, you know what? This is not for me. This is not where I need to be positioned. I need to be where I can do things with the grace that God has given me to be able to do it. And so repositioning requires you to understand that where God calls you, He will give you the grace to do it so that you can do it with little effort because He's working through you to get it done.
Wow, that's absolutely. And our last word, it really reset, reset.
Well, reset is that I think people, as a coach, you're a coach, I'm a coach. Some of the things I tell the people that I coach is that sometimes you'll start out on a track that, okay, these are the things I want to do. Here are the 5 things I want to do. And then sometimes maybe you get to step 3, life happens, something that you didn't anticipate, something happens, and you have to now reset and do something different. It's like when my mom was living with me before she transitioned, there were times I had to reset things because I was taking care of her. Because at that point, the priority is making sure that her needs were being met. So many times, as we've had to pivot and juggle through COVID, and now in this new era we're in, people are taking care of aging parents, they're taking care of children, they're taking care of sometimes just themselves, spouses, etc. You know what? I need to hit reset. And I'm going to put this on pause in the reset because I need to do something else at this point. This is more important. So resetting is just simply sometimes delaying. Delay does not mean denial. It simply means at this point I have to press reset because there is a priority right now that's more important. It's a person in my life that I need to make sure I'm taking care of that's more important to me at this point. Or there's a goal or there's something. But hitting reset does not mean that you fail. And I tell people you never fail unless you just don't get back up.
Right.
To reset is giving
Wow.
you permission to say it's okay to press reset because maybe you thought you were on this track, you could do this, and you realize halfway through this is not the time of the season for you to do it. So you have to press reset and say, okay, I need to revisit this maybe a year from now, 6 months from now, but right now it's not the time for me to do this. So it's okay. Don't beat yourself up if you had to hit reset. It's okay. It just shows you're human.
Yes, it says the human. Oh yeah. Guys, I hope you're taking note. I hope you're watching and you're sharing. Definitely, because this is amazing that and because you said something about resetting, that means you need to revisit. And many of us we don't do that quite often, even though we need to do that. But we don't do that quite often. And I know, in your field too, in the work that you do, Coach Nancy and myself, we came across a client who have goals, especially in the beginning of the year. Everybody has some goals, but you can cover like by summer, they're not even in that. What? I don't even know how
Summer.
you write that down.
You talking about summer? How about they set resolutions? And how about at the beginning of January? How about the middle of January? They have left the resolutions. We're talking about
That's
June.
right. That's true, Coach Nancy. And that's so important to revisit. And I like what you said about definitely we need to learn the lesson, and so we can be able to move on and learn once for all. We don't need to repeat. I always say you don't need to repeat that class, or you need to make sure you learn what you have to learn and just keep it going. If not, life is gonna make sure that you repeat until you're gonna learn that lesson. So absolutely. So, Coach Nancy, can you tell us? Because I want to come back to what you just, mentioned earlier. You said we need to, we need to learn and leave the baggage.
We
That's
take the
the
lesson. We take the lesson. We leave the
take
baggage.
the
And so
lesson.
what happens is that many times when you go through a difficult period of your life, sometimes the valley experiences, because if you live long enough, you're going to have some valley experiences. And then
Yes.
you're going to have some mountaintop experiences. When you're in the valley, there should always be lessons that you've learned that got you through it. Because the Bible says, yea, though I walk through the valley, it says you walk through, you don't stay there. So as I'm walking through this valley experience, what are the lessons I'm learning? Okay, as I come out, what are the lessons that I learned? I take those lessons and use them to go forward. But I leave all the other stuff behind. So what did I learn from this? I learned that maybe I learned one of the first lessons I learned as an entrepreneur was that when you're going through a difficult season in your life in terms of business, where business is slow or business is you're not getting the clients you want, you don't talk to someone who has a 9 to 5. Because and I did that because when I started out, I said, okay, well, this is difficult. Entrepreneurship is it's hard. You got to work it. And so I talked to my friends early in my career as an entrepreneur, and they would say, just get you a real job. You don't have to stay. You can get you a real job. You can just, it's not a problem. You skilled. I didn't want to hear that. I wanted to hear it's okay. We're going to here to encourage you. You can do this. What can we do to try to help you? That was not what I heard. So I realized people cannot connect with that because if you're not an entrepreneur, you don't know what it's like to walk by faith to the point where you don't have your check may not be there on the 15th. It may be there on the 18th. Maybe they're on the 20th. So it's a different space we're in, but it's all about our faith. But you take the lessons. Okay, I learned the lesson that when I'm going through a difficult period, I want to talk to entrepreneurs who have been there, who can share with me lessons they've learned, how they got through. And so what I do is I tell people the lessons that I've learned. I share them with other people so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I made. You can make new ones, but you take those lessons that you learn in those wilderness experiences, in those difficult periods, in those places where you've learned a lesson around business or family or relationships or whatever it is, and you say, okay, this is the lesson I learned. How do I apply this going forward? But I'm gonna leave all that other stuff behind because it will bog you down.
That's for sure. It will bargain, and that's why it's so important. And you just mentioned it to have a support system around you. You have to, if
Yes.
not, life gonna beat you down. And people who are still 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that. Which bless their heart, but
No.
it's very important because I remember too, some time ago where life happens and things happening. As an entrepreneur, you find yourself okay, okay, I need to figure things out. But I remember, and sometimes, we had a discussion to Coach Nancy and I, and we would say, yeah, Jeanine, I understand that. Well, I just keep going. That really blessed me, for that the last time when we talked about, because to me, I was just trying to figure things out, and and so I was like, wow, it's very encouraging to be able to have people that. Those are your circle, the people that you can always rely to. And then you said, if you don't have those people, you kind of start doubting yourself, which is not a good thing to do.
Right.
Absolutely. So
Right.
I'm very grateful to have Coach Nancy and many other women around me to be able to always have that support system.
Yeah, because you have to have people that are going to be your champions. They're going to be your cheerleaders when you have those periods where you're sometimes feeling, did I make the right decision? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Because sometimes those doubts will try to come in, but you have people around you that will remind you of your why you got started. You have to go back to that. And so everyone's not cut out to be an entrepreneur. They're not. Some people are designed to work for somebody. So I tell people there is nothing punitive about working for somebody. That's your pathway. But some of us who are entrepreneurs, this is our pathway. And so we all been graced with different things. And it's okay to say, this is what you do, this is what I do. The key thing is, how do we support each other? How do we do a better job of supporting each other? How do we lift each other up? How do we take the lessons and you leave the baggage? That's what we have to do. We take the lessons. I share the lessons with you so you don't make the same mistakes I made. And then we continue to pay it forward.
Absolutely. Guys, I hope you're taking note. continue to pay forward, because this is what, and to me, I always say that too, and especially also about Coach Nancy. She's one of the example of being a servant leader. That's what you do. You pay forward. You're supporting one another, but also you are there and making sure that the person, or the person you're supporting, they also see that in everything that you do. This example of, for us to come together and collaborate in different things. And like, I just gonna give you guys an example. I That conference like 2 weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, I just reached out to Coach Ness. She said, "Okay, I think I can." Said to me, guys, I know she's busy, but she really took time to be able to come. Why? Because she want to support me and want to make sure that definitely we're here for one another, guys. She's a true example of servant leader. So I really, really appreciate you, Coach Nancy, for that.
Well,
And the other thing,
when you told me, you said, "Can you come?" And I was like, "I'm coaching all day." And literally, I was coaching that day from like 9 to 5, and so
yes,
it was 5:05 when I was joining your group. So I did all of my coaching and went in
I
there.
remember. Yeah.
I mean, but it's when you want to support people that you care about, and that we're partners. We're in this together. We want to help each other get to where we were trying to get to. So I had the God has graced me with the ability to be able to do some things. So when I get called on by people in my network, I try to support them. That's important.
And I truly testify for that, because, guys, you have no idea. Coach Nancy, each time, she's always saying, "Yeah, Jeanine, let's go. What are we doing next?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my sister right there." And that's the spirit that you want to see, and people around you, because it's like, okay, let's go. Why? Because you understand that you've been called to supporting one another, and we are servant leaders. So if you're watching this podcast, please share and make sure that you are taking note, because we are all about empowering you with tools and strategy that you really need to do, so you can be able to be the best leader that you can be possibly be in your journey. So I want to really go to the main point of tonight. Is Coach Nancy, my sister, she's having an amazing event coming up in a couple weeks. That's why I'm so excited. I told her we need to go and talk about this, because again, she's been on this journey as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a servant leader for many years, but specifically for 15 years. Guys, this is a blessing to be able to know this woman, and making sure that we are all are here to support her, to champion her, to bless God about what He has done on this journey for 15 years. Coach Nancy, tell us, when you look back, have you ever thought about, like your first year? Can you just give us like a journey, how you kind of started, and how today, when you look back, you say only God. Can you give us some examples about that? This journey for 15 years.
Well, this is a journey of this women's conference. I've been in business over 20 years for business.
Oh, see, guys,
But,
20.
but,
Yeah.
but the conference that I'm doing is transforming women entrepreneurs. We're doing our 15th year on March 16th. And so the conference started out in 15 years ago, and I was doing it with a colleague. We wanted to have a forum for executive and business women, professional women, to come together and share knowledge, education, equipping them with tools they needed to do their job, but also what we could do, where we could have a nice breakfast, because it started as a breakfast series. We were eating breakfast, and we had speakers that would share and impart information to them. And so after the first year, one of the first lessons I learned in that first year is that we had friends who would tell us they were going to come to the event. And so when food is involved, you get charged for whatever you say you're going to have, whether they come or not. And so we had some friends who said they're going to come. They had us. Don't worry about it. Just lock us in for being there. And so we believed them. And so then when they didn't come, it doesn't matter when you're involved with food, when you have a part of a conference. If you say you're going to have 200 people there, this is the number you guarantee, and only 40 come, you're still going to be billed for the 200. So we learned early on that, if you have not registered, sometimes we don't count you in. There's always going to be a number that they can give above what you guarantee, but it's going to be like maybe 10%. So that was a lesson I learned. But it was just the fact that the first year we did it, and it was it was a small, intimate, and quaint, but it was very powerful. And so after that, the first year, my colleague I was working with, she said, "Nancy, I don't think I want to do this. I have some other stuff I want to work on." I said, okay, but I thought it was just something that was really good. I said, this is a good form. I'm not going to let it go. She said, well, you run with it. Go take it. I said, okay. So then the second year, I was trying to get sponsors and stuff and only getting no rejection. Because again, this is my second year doing a conference. People don't know, okay, why would I want to invest in you? You're a small business owner, trying to get major organizations to support you. And so no one really came on board. I didn't stop. I just continued to do them. I said, okay, because I realized no is just next opportunity. You cannot quit because people say no. You have to get over being the feeling of they rejected me. No, they just don't need what you have at this time. So I think the third year was when I first got my first major organization to support me. And I was like, yes, because you just have to keep coming back. You have to keep asking. You have to keep asking. And so I knew once I got one major organization to work with me, I knew that the rest would happen because when they see that one person would come on board and then others came on board, and it's just been growing since that time. So, but it's a point of it's relationships, even with those people that are sponsors. I have relationships with them. And so it's important in order to get sponsorship, you have to have relationships with those people who can influence and say, okay, we're going to give you money for your event. And so that's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So it's been a process. And we were doing it at the beginning for about 10 years. We did it 4 times a year. We did 3 breakfast series, and then we did a luncheon. Actually, the first 10 years, about the first 8 or 9 years, it was all breakfast series. Then we moved to where we had 3 breakfasts, and then we had the March was the big one. And then we finally got to where I think we did like I was doing maybe like 1 or 2 of them a year. And then I just finally came to where I just did one. And that to be 2019, right before COVID, we were taking it on the road. We took it to California. We went to Savannah, and we were preparing to go to Charlotte and some other places for 2020, and then COVID hit. So we had to stop that because I didn't have the base there. So I continued to do it virtually in Atlanta during the COVID years. And this is because 2020, when we did it, we actually did the conference in person. We did it on a Thursday, and then that Monday, the world shut down.
My goodness.
So I mean, God was in His infinite wisdom when He gave me the date. He knew that I was going to get in right
Yeah.
before everything shut down. And so
Yeah.
2020 one in 2022 we did it virtually, which is wonderful. I mean, it was wonderful. But this year's 15 years, and we're doing it back in person. And so we just give God praise because I told people it's a God event. So we get the speakers, we get the venue. It's very God class because God wants us to do everything in the spirit of excellence. That's what we're taught, to everything in the spirit of excellence. So we are doing it this year at Cobb Galleria in Atlanta, which is a very nice location. And we are actually in the room that's the gallery that everything is inside of there. I mean, we have the restrooms, everything is all enclosed, everything's that we're having vendors, etc. And so it's just going to be a powerful day of pouring into women, and men can also attend the event. It's just that the speakers are all women, but the messages are relevant for anybody if you want to become more aware of your mental health in terms of professionalism in this new COVID era, in terms of the things about your finances, different topics, supplier diversity in the small business owner, in terms of how you bounce back after adversity. So there are a variety of topics that are basically going to equip, educate, and just encourage people to just keep going. And basically, you're in a close-knit environment where you can connect with like-minded women, and beyond that, you can create new relationships.
Ooh, yes. It's really about that creating relationship, really creating, very valuable relationship because I'm sure you have learned so many lessons in these 15 years, but also because you didn't give up. Today I know you like, 2 years after, like 3 years after. I'm so grateful because to me, as like it's because of your consistency, resiliency, refocus, repositioning, reset. Oh, but what? I mean, to me, that's really why I want to celebrate you and all the, your team and many women who are surrounding you and men. But definitely, when I listened to that, I was like, I need to be part of it. So, guys, I hope you listening. She's gonna give us again the address, and please follow Coach Nancy. She's definitely somebody that you need to work with. I really want to make sure that everybody, follow Coach Nancy, really inbox her, ask her any question about the conference because I'm going to be there. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely coming. So I can't wait. And I'm really encouraging many of you guys also to do the same because it's all about coming together and supporting one another. I'm going to also tell our French viewers so they can be able to reach out to Coach Nancy and making sure that you're coming to learn. She's going to be sharing her value and she's going to be sharing her journey, guys. So I want you to get those very, very, very valuable nuggets and lessons that you need into your journey, into leadership, but also as a business owners. So, j'aimerais que vous puissiez vraiment soutenir Coach Nancy. Elle est en train d'organiser cette conférence. Ça sera le 16 mars à Atlanta. So, j'aimerais vraiment que vous puissiez vous connecter avec Coach Nancy. C'est une dame qui est vraiment formidable. Et là, elle est en train de fêter 15 ans depuis qu'elle est en train de faire ces conférences chaque année. Elle s'est pas découragée parce qu'elle nous a dit qu'il y avait beaucoup il y avait de moments là où elle voulait vraiment lâché. Mais comme en tant qu'entrepreneur, elle a continué. Elle a même commencé avec une autre dame. Et cette dame a dit non, non, je ne pense pas. Après la première année, elle a dit, je ne pense pas que je vais continuer avec ça. Je vais faire autre chose. Mais elle a continué. Elle ne s'est pas lassée. Alors, c'est ça, ce genre de personnes que moi j'emmène et que ce sont ces genres de personnes qui m'encouragent, même dans mon parcours en tant que leader, en tant que coach. Tu as besoin de ce genre de personnes. So, elle a fait maintenant 15 ans et vraiment, on sera là pour célébrer avec elle et la soutenir surtout parce que c'est une dame, pour moi, c'est Dieu qui nous a vraiment connectés parce qu'elle fait un travail impeccable. Donc, elle va parler de plusieurs sujets, mais aussi il y aura des panélistes qui vont venir et d'autres conférenciers qui vont venir parler des sujets très importants par rapport au leadership, par rapport à ce que toi, tu dois faire dans le business et aussi sur le temps que vous puissiez network avec les gens. Donc, si tu veux ton business puisse être connu, tu veux que les gens puissent te reconnaître en tant que leader et que tu veux vraiment travailler et avoir des opportunités, ça, c'est une conférence que tu devais vraiment venir et qu'elle pourra toujours se connecter avec toi, travailler avec toi, c'est important. So, connecte-toi avec Coach Nancy, avec, dans tous ces liens sur les réseaux sociaux que ce soit sur LinkedIn, YouTube, que ce soit sur Instagram, et puis surtout sur LinkedIn. Elle est souvent sur LinkedIn, donc make sure que tu es en train de la suivre et puis parler avec elle. C'est vraiment important. Coach Nancy, c'est une femme que elle est vraiment une dame avec qui nous faisons beaucoup de activités ensemble. Donc, vraiment, j'aimerais que vous puissiez aussi la soutenir. Thank you so much, Coach Nancy. And please, can you get us the information
Yeah.
about the tickets and
Yes.
the link and how people can
Absolutely.
connect?
Absolutely. So to register for the event is again March 16th, 2023. It's from 9 to 4. It's at Cobb Galleria in Atlanta, Georgia. That's COBB Galleria, Galleria. And so if you Google that, you'll find it. And so the website, you can go to the website to register and get information about all the speakers and everything at www.tweus.com. So that's www. T is in Tom, W is in Wise, E is in Echo, U is in Uncle, S is in Sam.com. So www.tweus.com has registration there, has the speakers, has everything there for you. So you'll know what the day is going to be about. Yes. And you can also, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I'm Nancy J. Lewis on LinkedIn. I post regularly. I am active, very active on LinkedIn with nuggets of information, inspirational nuggets, things that I do, articles that I share with other people, forwarding things. I engage and comment on things. So very active on LinkedIn. So it's a place where every business professional should be there. But all my stuff is out there as well regarding the conference. And I'm featuring each of the speakers in their own flyer I've been doing that over the last few weeks, and I'll be continuing that until the end. And so we're actually celebrating two women that have been supporters of the event for most of the time I've been doing it. So I'm celebrating them with an award that day because they've been very supportive for me, and I don't take that for granted.
Awesome.
I got to give a shout out to Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Myrna White she's been very supportive of what I do. She's one of the persons I'm recognizing, as well as Vicki Irwin Avery, and she's with Georgia Power. Those two women have been very strong and supporters of what I've been doing over the years. So I'm very appreciative of them. But Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport is my title sponsor. So I'm very thankful for that, for the support. I have other sponsors as well, Georgia Power. I have the Atlanta Heart Association. I have Grady Health System, and then I have a lot of partners. So I'm very thankful for that. So I just give God praise for what He's doing with this. And when people come, your life won't be the same, because I tell people it's just a God event, and you'll leave feeling inspired, but more important, ignited to really pursue your dreams and your goals. And you have people now that you can align with to help you get there faster.
Absolutely, yes, because you already have a track record and people can be able to see it for 15 years or even more than that. You started more than 20 years. So to me, this is where you need to be, guys. Okay. I hope you're going to follow Coach Nancy. I hope you're going to reach out to her because she's really the type of woman that you need to be around. And because especially when you're starting, or even you already started but you kind of feel like stuck, or that you don't have direction, she's gonna guide you guys. Again, she has a very amazing executive um, leadership program. She has consulting businesses. So guys, everything you need around leadership and executive, guys, she's the right person to really be around. So please don't hesitate, check out, if you can, please. Coach Nancy, there's going to be an opportunity for people to view online, like virtually, or
I've not done that part yet because people have asked me about it, but I'm still in prayer because it's an in-person thing. So I'm not sure if it's
okay.
going to be. What we may do is record it, and then we may actually sell that in terms of people want if they want to date. I'm still praying through that because again, everything I do
Okay.
is a prayer
Yeah,
point.
because I feel like there's a one question people ask me always, can we do virtually? I was like, well, I don't know that.
So I don't know. I mean, there we may want to doing that. I've had that
Okay.
question come up, but I just have not prayed it through to say, okay, yes or no.
Okay.
We're actually doing that Friday. We're actually doing a golf clinic, but that's for anybody who wants to participate. It's a golf clinic on the Friday from 9 to 1. So again, one of our speakers is going to talk about how to leverage golf in business and the importance of golf in business for women. And so the next day we're doing a golf clinic to get people exposed to putting a golf club in their hands and just giving them the experience of saying, you might want to tap into this as you go into developing your career. So
Wow, guys! I hope you really taking note, and you're going to reach out and support my sister, Coach Nancy, because she's definitely a servant leader that I want to support. Each time I get the opportunity, I just want to jump on because she's ready. She's ready to serve. And on this conference, look how she's want to honor all these women and men who've been there, from day one, or who've been supporting her. So she really have a heart to serve. And this is the type of people I want to be around all the time. So again, thank you so much, Coach Nancy, for coming, for
thank
empowering you TV. And we really, really are excited to be there. And we can't wait. And please reach out to Coach Nancy. Thank you so much, guys.
thank you,
And
Jen.
then your last word, Coach Nancy, before we go.
I just tell people just to be okay with being you. Be your authentic self, be true to who you are because it reduces your stress, it allows you to flow, and basically also make sure you're taking care of you because you can't pour from an empty cup. Self-care is critical. Take care of you so you can take care of other people because as women sometimes we're nurturers to everybody else and we're not taking care of ourselves. Take care of the temple that God has given you. Be a good steward of it so you can be there to take care of other people. So do you because everybody else is taken. That's one of my Nancy isms. So do you because everybody else is taken. You can be a first rate you or second rate somebody else. Choose to be a first rate you.
Absolutely, guys. This is our last word. Choose to be the great you are. This is amazing because, again, you want to be unique and you want to be impact and start really building your legacy. You don't need to build your legacy when you can't anymore, when you don't have enough strength. Start building your legacy now. So I hope you took note tonight. And this is Coach Jeanine and Coach Nancy. We're so happy to be here tonight. I hope you're gonna follow and reach out to Coach Nancy because I want to see you to la conference et j'espère que vous allez vraiment rejoindre Coach Nancy parce qu'elle va faire cette conférence le 16 mars. Donc, invitez plusieurs personnes. Si vous habitez Atlanta, Georgia ou bien dans les environs, n'hésitez pas parce que c'est vraiment une conférence que j'aimerais que vous puissiez supporter cette dame parce qu'elle fait un bon travail. Et pour moi, ce sont des femmes comme ça qu'il faut vraiment encourager et venez apprendre, venez poser des questions parce que c'est tellement important d'apprendre et puis surtout de poser des questions parce que peut-être que toi, tu voudras aussi faire ta propre conférence l'année prochaine ou bien des années dans le futur, mais tu ne sais pas comment. Alors ça, c'est vraiment l'opportunité qu'elle vous donne, qu'elle nous donne à nous de venir ensemble et de vraiment se supporter et venir assister et être là pour elle. So, merci beaucoup et on se voit le dimanche. Thank you so much, Coach Nancy.
Thank you,
It was
Coach
a pleasure
Jeanine.
again.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you guys, and we'll see you Sunday. Bye bye.